everybody, Clara here, and Ruby. She'll be in the background a bunch, I'm sure. Yeah, what do you see? So, you may notice, I can't speak. You may notice something different about me. I did get braces. It's only temporary, but there were some minor things that had like shifted in my mouth since I had braces the first time, and it was like a huge insecurity for me. And so I decided to get braces for a second time, but it's only for like 6 months, so it's not too bad. But anyway, Ruby, are you gonna let me talk to the people? Are you gonna let me talk? You gonna let me talk? Or you wanna sit here? Okay. So God really laid it on my heart this week to make this video. I want to talk about today 5 practical ways to grow closer to God. I want to go ahead and disclose I'm not perfect. These 5 things that I'm going to talk about, I fall short of all the time. It's not extremely consistent every single day. I'd love it to be, and that's what I'm striving for it to be. But these are things that have worked for me personally, and I want to share it with you so it can maybe help you in your walk. So I'm going to try to make it all short and simple, and hopefully it all makes sense when I talk, because I'm not really good at that all the time. So we'll see. But anyway, got my notes right here, and I'm going to give you some resources too along the way, some suggestions of things that I do, and I'll share them with you, and I'll try to link everything that I talk about down below. Also, please ignore my hair. It's still trying to air dry, even though it's been 4 hours now. Something like that. Do you want to go out? Just realized how messy my bed looks. Okay, so the first 3 that I'm going to talk about are going to be the most easiest to do, to incorporate into your daily life. They're easiest for me anyway. So number 1 is listening to worship music. It's important for people like me who aren't fully awake when they wake up to start my day with something other than going straight into reading my Bible, even though that is so important and that's part of my routine. I'm not fully awake in my mind right off the bat when I step out of bed. And so I'll start my day with worship music. It's just an amazing way to set your mind right with truth. Even if you're not fully awake yet like me, if you're not listening to the words intentionally, you're still pouring truth over yourself, because we were made to worship. I actually have a playlist on Apple Music. Let me show you really quick, and I'll link it down below too. I have 2 main playlists that I listen to every single day. I have one called Heart of Worship, and that's the one I listen to the most. Elevation, Hillsong, Passion, Vertical Worship, House Fires, UPPERROOM is really good. But I'll link it down below. Bethel's really good. Such good stuff. It's genuine worship music. And then my other Jesus playlist, it's just called More Jesus. It's more of the Christian radio stuff for the most part, and praise and worship music, and a lot of the stuff you hear on the radio. I'm not a huge Christian radio fan like I used to be. A lot of it's getting really repetitive sounding to me. I don't know. I still love it, but I don't listen to it as much as I used to. I'd rather listen to the more authentic, hardcore worship stuff. I'm also not saying Christian music's all you have to listen to, because I like worldly music too, but at the end of the day, my heart craves worship music. I have on my Apple Music, I have a Disney playlist, I have Broadway, musicals and stuff, and then I have an explicit playlist that has more modern songs that aren't focused on Jesus. But I was even listening to my Disney playlist this morning on my way to go get my passport. More on that later. I'm really excited. And fun fact, my favorite Disney song ever, my go-to Disney jam, is that one little reprise in The Little Mermaid where she's sitting on the rock and she is watching Prince Eric, and she's but I know something's starting right now, and then she's it's like building up intense, and she's like, someday I'll be part of your world, and the waves like crashes up on behind her. It's, well, like I get chills just talking about it. But anyway, so definitely worship music. So number 2 is podcasts, and I hold them like about the same. Worship music is so important because it's like pouring truth over you. And podcasts are like giving you knowledge, they're like informing you, and it gives you things that you should be thinking about, things that are good and holy throughout the day. I like to listen to podcasts in my car on my way to work in the mornings because they're not like super long, and I like to take my time in the mornings, and I'll go get breakfast and then I'll go to school, and I have like a good chunk of time to listen to these podcasts, and some really good ones that I like. I love to listen to sermon podcasts too. And 2 really great ones are the Porch and the Village. Both of their churches have apps, and I'll show you what they look like. It's such good stuff. Like, they have their sermon series like grouped together. Like, it's such good stuff. But there's also a podcast that I love to listen to on the podcast app. It's Becoming Something, and it's also not meant for like young Christians. It's meant for like young adults, kids in high school, people my age and up, because there is some mature content in there, but it talks about really, really important things and just really good. Okay. So I love to start my day with music or a podcast. So number 3 is surround yourself with good Christian people, friends, and a mentor. I really can't stress enough, and this was poured into me a lot growing up, is that you are the people who you surround yourself with. My Nana always used to say, like, the 5 people you're closest to make up your personality and like how you act. We adapt to who we're around, and like you'll pick up mannerisms from your friends, but get yourself some good Christian friends who are grounded in faith and support you on your faith journey, not support your compromise in your faith journey. You need people who are going to build you up, hold you accountable, and encourage and help push you along in your walk. And it's also super important to find a mentor, someone older who's wiser, who has more experience than you do, that can pour wisdom into you. I have this amazing woman in my life who I consider my mentor. She's watched me grow up. Her name is Jamie. Even still, to me, she's just like the ideal godly woman. Like, I've looked up to her since I was really little. She's always pouring out good wisdom, and we have some of the best conversations. And get you someone like Jamie who you can text anytime, who will sit down and talk with you, who will read stuff with you, who will pour into you, who will encourage your walk, encourage your faith, and pray for you. You need to get friends and a mentor who's going to pray for you, because it's so important to have that community. Speaking of prayer, that's number 4. So the power of prayer is so important. It's so important to pray throughout your day, whether you're praying over your food or in between classes or anytime you're alone. Like, I'll pray in my car. Like, I'll just start talking to God. It doesn't have to be like, dear Jesus, give us this day. Like, no, you can just talk to him. Like, it's like having a conversation with a person. He's real, and you can talk to him. It doesn't have to be scripted. It doesn't have to be, just let it flow like from your heart. Let it be authentic, because that's exactly what he wants. He just wants your authentic, willing heart. Once you start praying more and more, whether it's just like one sentence, like, you'll see a huge difference, and you'll feel so connected to him. And you don't have to like start off with these long prayers. Like, start slow and build from there, and you'll eventually just have full-on conversations, and it's wonderful. You'll feel so connected. This is a really good analogy. If you have a friend that you never talk to, your relationship isn't going to get any better. You're not going to learn more about each other, and it's just, there's nothing to it. I knew they weren't going to let me do this. I knew they weren't going to leave me alone. I love you so much. Say hi. Annie, I need to talk to you people. Can you let me... So anyway, number 5, and the most important thing, is to set aside time for God. Make a quiet time. If you don't know what a quiet time is, it's a time that you set aside to spend with just you and God in His Word. It can be whatever you want it to be, but it's just a set aside time for you and Him. Quiet time is really important to me because it says in Mark 1 that Jesus, waking up very early in the morning, He went to a quiet place and there He prayed. Jesus lived in such a way that we're called to do the same. He set aside time in the morning just to be with the Father. He went private before He went public. It's powerful because the second we leave our bedrooms, we are attacked with lies by the enemy. So it's so crucial that we fill ourselves with His truth and what He says about us. That's why it's really important to start your day off with Jesus. If I don't start my day with Jesus, I can tell like the whole day is just off. I'm so guilty of compromising it sometimes. Like, I'm not perfect, but be honest about, like, because everybody will say, oh, I don't have time. You have to make time. Because be honest, like, how much did you spend scrolling on social media today, or watching Netflix, or whatever, sleeping, taking a nap? Like, you can just find 5 minutes, like on your lunch break or before you go to bed. I can't do it before I go to bed because I'm tired. I'm ready to go to bed. That's why I do it in the morning, because I feel like my mind is the most productive in the mornings after I've like woken up and had water and coffee and all that. Anyway, quiet time is my number 1 thing. I know it's number 5 on the list, but it is the most important part of my day, because if I don't have that, my whole day is just off. Like I said, I'm not perfect. I fall short. This was probably off the entire time. That's going to bother me so bad. I'm not perfect, and I fall short of these things every single day. But the main thing is that I'm striving to do it every day. We're human. We're going to fall short. But as long as you keep your mind on these simple, easy things, your day is going to be so much better, and you're going to grow so closer to God. I hope you like this video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more stuff like this. I can also make more videos on like my Christian favorites. Like, I know I suggested stuff in this video, but I have so many more things that are so helpful in my walk that I would love to share with you guys if you want to see that. If you do, comment down below and let me know, because I don't want to make stuff that y'all don't want to see. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!